Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of my Power Move series. So last week I talked to you guys about the importance of bending and extending the trail arm and how it's vital in allowing you to apply more downward force into the ball. And if you haven't watched that video already, I highly recommend that you do, just so you can improve your understanding of how things may be connected. So now the next important movement that is vital in producing power is how the left arm or lead arm moves across the chest throughout the swing. And I wanted to explain this movement next because it is directly related to what I talked about in part 1, and it influences the movement of the trail arm. So I think this would be a good way to build off of my explanation. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you are new to the channel, please subscribe to see more golf related content. Now, last week I gave you a visual representation of a triangle that's formed at the address position, where last week we talked about how the trail arm was the only side of the triangle that will change in length. But this week I want to talk to you guys about the other two sides of the triangle, which would be the relationship between the lead arm and the shoulders. So when you make your backswing, even though the length of these lines will not change in length, the space between them does. The further along in the backswing you go, there will be a loading of the lead arm across the chest, which will narrow the angle between the shoulder line and the lead arm. The amount the lead arm loads will depend on the player's own swing pattern and flexibility, but typically you would only see a change of about 15 to 20 degrees between the shoulder line and the lead arm if you want it to be more precise. And here's what I look for position-wise to ensure players are doing it the correct amount for their swing. So when it comes to the amount the lead arm loads across the chest, there's no exact amount that everybody has to do. When a person kind of loads their lead arm across their chest too much or too excessively, where they decrease the angle between their lead arm and the shoulder maybe too much, what you typically see is that the lead arm is very, very flat, okay? And too much across the chest. That can get your hands a bit too deep behind you. It may not be correct for your swing pattern. The other golfer that doesn't load the left arm enough to where the angle between the lead arm and the shoulder doesn't really narrow much, okay? Typically, you will see them very, very upright, okay, because they didn't get their left arm kind of across their bodies enough. To know position-wise if you're doing it the correct amount, where there's only about a change of about 15 to 20 degrees, okay, typically you would see that your lead arm is fairly close to the plane line of your shoulders, okay? That would be kind of more of a visual representation of you doing a correct amount of loading of the lead arm. So not only can the lead arm affect your positioning at the top, but it can also influence the amount the trail arm bends in the backswing. The more the trail arm loads, then typically you would see more of a bending in the trail arm and vice versa. Now the role of the lead arm can really show its benefits into the downswing and into the follow through, just because anything that can load will unload. As you make your downswing, the decrease in space between the shoulder line and lead arm that happened in the backswing will widen the closer you get into impact and into your follow through. This movement is what gives you so much more speed and power if done well. So there's a fun experiment that you can do to help you better understand this concept, and it's to hit some balls with just your lead arm only. For the first shot, what you're going to do is you're just going to hold your lead arm with your trail arm and hold it against your chest. When you're making the swing, you're going to try not to allow the lead arm to kind of load across your chest, or you're not going to allow the lead arm to kind of spread away from your chest or get further away from your trail shoulder. Okay, so you're going to hold it in like this, and you're going to try to hit the ball kind of as fast as you can or as hard as you can, which will be pretty difficult to do. The next shot, you're not going to hold on to your lead arm at all. Okay, you're going to allow the lead arm to get closer to the trail shoulder, and you're going to allow it to spread away from the chest, and you should right away be able to tell that you're able to swing it significantly faster doing it this way. It's a really cool experiment just to kind of really improve your understanding of the importance of this lead arm moving across your chest throughout the swing. Now, just like I mentioned in the previous video, if you want to ensure that your speed is optimized more or less at impact, you want to ensure that just after impact, the lead arm and the club form a straight line. okay? And then more so just immediately after that position is when the trail arm is fully extended. If your trail arm does not extend and your lead arm stays loaded against your chest, then you're not going to see the benefit of this movement. Or reversely, if you extend out too early, okay, then all your speed would be kind of unloaded behind the golf ball. So if you can hit those positions, that would probably mean that you're hitting the ball at the highest point of acceleration. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to tune in next week for part 3, where I will continue to build on my explanation of these 4 power moves. And don't forget to follow me on my Instagram at Jonathan K. Moss, but other than that, I will see you guys next week.